Welcome back to the channel, football fans. Today's episode is absolutely packed with massive updates from both Barcelona and Real Madrid, and trust me, you don't want to miss a second of this. We start in Catalonia, where Marcus Rashford makes a perfectly timed return to training ahead of the crucial Champions League showdown with Chelsea, while Hansi Flick continues breaking historic records at Spotify Camp Nou. We also have a full breakdown on Balde, Pedri and the latest squad decisions. But that's not all. Real Madrid is on fire off the pitch too. Florentino Pérez has launched explosive new attacks on La Liga, UEFA, and even Barcelona, plus Xabi Alonso has sent two powerful messages to his dressing room as the pressure heats up. And to wrap it up, Barcelona president Joan Laporta has finally revealed shocking behind-the-scenes details about Xavi's controversial dismissal, with revelations that will stun every Barca fan. Stay tuned. Transfers, injury updates, politics, drama, and elite football insight, all in one video. Informed Barcelona forward makes timely return and puts himself in line for Chelsea clash. Key midfielder misses out. Barcelona have received a major boost ahead of their crucial UEFA Champions League showdown against Chelsea, as Marcus Rashford has returned to training at just the right moment. After the historic 4-0 win over Athletic Club in the reopening of Spotify Camp Nou, the squad regrouped for a light recovery session, and the morning brought encouraging updates for Hansi Flick and his staff. The biggest talking point centered around Rashford's condition. As per Sport, the forward, who had missed the previous two training sessions due to flu and was consequently left out of the matchday squad for the Athletic clash, arrived alongside his teammates and took part in the session as normal. This development was exactly what the club hoped for. The coaching staff planned for Rashford to train fully today and tomorrow, allowing him to regain rhythm before traveling with the squad to London. Updates on Balde and Pedri. Another concern for the team was Alejandro Balde, who had been substituted during the Athletic Club match after experiencing mild dizziness following a collision. The fullback, however, trained without any issues today. If Flick gives the green light, Balde could even be in contention to start against Chelsea, reinforcing Barcelona's flank with his trademark energy and pace. The only player who will not feature in the traveling squad is Pedri. The midfielder continues working individually to rebuild his fitness, but Barcelona are adamant that rushing him back now would be irresponsible. Flick and the medical team agree that, despite the importance of the upcoming Champions League match, Pedri must return only when fully ready. The expectation is that he will be available for Barcelona's next La Liga fixture, which is against the Alaves, ensuring his comeback is both safe and sustainable. Hansi Flick sets record with historic lineup for Barcelona at Spotify Camp Nou. Barcelona's return to Spotify Camp Nou after a gap of over 900 days was nothing short of spectacular. Barcelona marked their emotional return to the refurbished Spotify Camp Nou in style, smashing Athletic Club 4-0 in a performance that electrified the home crowd and showcased the club's deep connection with its academy roots. But beyond the goals and celebrations, Mundo Deportivo pointed out a remarkable piece of history that many fans missed. Hansi Flick sets an incredible new milestone. Everyone knows Barcelona has long depended on La Masia to shape world-class talent. However, something truly special happened in this match. For the first time since 1970, Barcelona started 7 Catalan-born players in a single lineup. To put this in perspective, the last time 7 Catalans started a match was on December 6, 1970, against Sporting de Gijón at Camp Nou. The German manager's commitment to homegrown talent did not stop there. In total, 9 Catalan players featured in the match after Marc Casado and Marc Bernal were introduced in the second half. Remarkably, the precedent for 9 Catalans playing in a single match dates all the way back to October 31, 1937. Amidst the turmoil of the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona faced Espanyol, securing a 9-1 win with a fully Catalan lineup, a record that had stood for 88 years until yesterday. Credit where it is due, Flick's decision to select local talent not only celebrates Barcelona's rich footballing heritage but also signals a renewed emphasis on nurturing homegrown stars. Real Madrid president says Champions League should be free, hits out on FC Barcelona. Real Madrid's ordinary general meeting turned into far more than a financial discussion, as club president Florentino Pérez used his time on stage to launch a series of pointed digs at La Liga, UEFA, and arch-rivals Barcelona. The event quickly shifted from routine business to a fiery speech that touched on broadcasting rights, governance, refereeing controversies, and the long-running Negreira scandal. Pérez first shifted attention to what he believes is an unfair system that limits fan access to top-level football. He made it clear why Real Madrid continues to push for reform, pointing towards the Super League. He declared, Fans should be able to watch football for free. Thanks to FIFA for understanding this with the Club World Cup. I can only think of one reason why UEFA isn't doing it. It means another year of huge salaries for them. Just like the La Liga president who collects a salary bigger than the Premier League president, even though he generates much less profit, he said as quoted by the Touchline. Aim at Javier Tebas. After criticizing the governing bodies, Pérez then turned to the controversial Miami proposal that originally involved Barcelona and Villarreal playing a league match in the United States, an idea that Real Madrid openly opposed. He reminded the room why the club considered the plan unacceptable, saying, "It's not normal for the president of La Liga to promote a match outside of Spain." He strengthened his argument by pointing out the reactions of those directly involved, adding, "Even Frenkie de Jong doesn't think it's normal. And we have to listen to Tebas comparing it to the NFL game." Miami's proposal is nothing more than another failed initiative by the president of La Liga. Pérez then questioned the financial arrangements behind the scenes, stating, "It's not normal La Liga support Barcelona and Villarreal, receiving extra financial incentives for playing in Miami." The Negreira case. Finally, Pérez closed with one of the most controversial topics in Spanish football, the Negreira case. He did not hesitate to connect it to Barcelona's dominance in previous years, telling members, "It is a shame for Spanish football that of the 35 referees selected for the Club World Cup, FIFA did not select any Spanish referee. It is not normal for Barcelona to pay the vice president of the referees more than €8 million over 17 years, whatever the reason. It coincides coincidentally with Barcelona's best sporting period," he noted. Xabi Alonso issues two powerful messages to dressing room ahead of Elche clash. Real Madrid did not enter the international break on a high, for they lost one and drew one of their last two games before the hiatus. The break, seemingly, arrived at a time when they were at their lowest point in the season, and there is thus a lot of expectation ahead of tonight's clash against Elche. Just a month ago, Los Blancos took down the mighty Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabéu and then hosted Valencia at home to take them down by a 4-0 margin. Now they will look to get back on a similar run. Alonso's plan. As relayed in a recent report by AS, Xabi Alonso is emphasizing a message to the team that they must recover the version of themselves that they showed against Barcelona in El Clásico. That includes the fighting spirit, the pressing and the running that they showed against Hansi Flick's side last month but seemingly lost immediately in its aftermath. A big part of the responsibility of Alonso's second message falls on Kylian Mbappé, Vinicius Jr., and Jude Bellingham. The manager, after all, insists now that they must understand each other and distribute roles and tasks unlike before. That implies that each player must stick to what they do best and deliver on the field in that respect so as to maximize their output. Straying into each other's territories, after all, does not serve any party well. The relationship between the trio is positive and the management have made it clear to them as to what falls under whose duties on the field. It will be interesting to see the chemistry they show later tonight. After the game against Elche tonight, Real Madrid have 3 more difficult games on the road, and how they start today will go a long way in deciding which way their momentum shifts. The stakes, needless to say, are high. Barcelona president uncovers shocking details of Xavi's dismissal. He wanted to change several first-team players. Barcelona president Joan Laporta has finally given his detailed version of the dramatic chain of events that led to Xavi Hernandez's dismissal last year. The saga, which unfolded between January and May 2024, was one of the most turbulent managerial episodes the club had experienced in recent times. What made the situation even more chaotic was that Xavi himself initiated the storm when he publicly announced his intention to step down at the end of the season, only to reverse that decision weeks later. Those months were filled with tension behind closed doors, disagreements over sporting direction and misaligned expectations. Laporta explains the event. Now, speaking to Sport 3, Laporta has laid out his perspective on exactly what went wrong. He began by revisiting the moment Xavi changed his mind about leaving, saying, "Xavi had announced his departure himself, saying he would leave at the end of the season. Then he asked to meet me at my home to explain that, in reality, he wanted to continue and felt the need to. I asked him only one question. Xavi, do you believe in the team? He replied, I believe 100% and I'll make these players champions." Laporta then recalled how everything shifted barely a week later, when Xavi made comments in a press conference that contradicted the confidence he had expressed privately. "A week later, I heard him say in a press conference that he and the team would need 2 years to be competitive. I thought, what is this?" The uncertainty continued to grow when Xavi later approached Deco, the sporting director, with suggestions about restructuring the squad. Laporta revealed how those conversations impacted him and forced him to reassess the situation. He later spoke with Deco about the possibility of changing several first-team players. As you know, I have a lot of respect for Xavi and his words affected me deeply. We've had to make tough decisions before with Messi, Alba, Busquets, Peak, even with Xavi and Koeman, but at Barca the institution always comes first. It is above the players, the presidents and the coaches, he concluded. It is clear that although attempts were made to steady the ship, Laporta ultimately relieved Xavi of his duties on May 24th, bringing an end to a cycle that had become increasingly unsustainable. And that wraps up today's huge roundup of Barcelona and Real Madrid news. From Rashford's timely return and Flick's historic lineup choices, to Florentino Pérez's explosive claims and Laporta's inside story on Xavi, the Spanish football world is more dramatic than ever. Barcelona move into their Champions League clash with confidence. Real Madrid fight to regain their best version under Xabi Alonso, and the politics between La Liga and the top clubs continue to heat up. Let me know in the comments. Who is under more pressure right now, Barcelona or Real Madrid? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for daily football updates. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.